Um, the differences I feel are supposed to complement each other, but at the same time, the differences should help better each other as well. So it's like you should have somebody that's a little bit different than you, but complements you in areas that are necessary. Um,
What's going on, everybody? You are now tuned into another episode of Everyday Heroes, and we got real name Wynton, Jazz, the Queen Lioness, Aunt of Dragons, and Rodney back on the show. So before we get into anything, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on the show. This is Everyday Heroes. Go ahead and Google us. We're on every streaming platform, you name it. We on there. We in the mix. All right. So today, our topic today: how important is it for individuals in a relationship to maintain their own separate identity? How important is it for individuals in a relationship to maintain their own separate identity? We're gonna go ahead and start with Jazz.
Oh, hey everyone.
How's it going?
Okay, so it is very important to maintain your identity while you're in a relationship. Or even if you become a parent, because that's like something that I see often, even with myself. When I became a mom, when I became a wife, or back in the day, throwback Thursday, um,
Mm,
I literally consumed myself to being those titles. And in the end, when there became a shift in my atmosphere, meaning when we got divorced and separated, I had to build myself from scratch. And that takes getting to know yourself, realigning myself with my passions, going back to school, and it just really takes away the focus of bettering yourself and the things that you're passionate about. So having self identity is definitely important, especially to my women. Hello, y'all. I'm talking to you. Hey, sister. Get to know yourself. Okay. Love yourself. All right. Um, and also, I feel like that's why some people kind of overcompensate with being what's the like what's the word I'm looking for when they're just overly affectionate or just under your wing. They want to do everything you're doing or whatnot. You can't breathe like that. And after a while, I'm sure y'all gonna get tired of each other. So yeah, you just need to be able to have your own routine, have your own art space, all that good stuff.
mm.
That's my reason.
Okay. And I definitely can agree with that. Maintaining individuality, I think is critical to establishing like a long lasting, healthy partnership. And personal boundaries and limits, that we set for ourselves as individuals, they protect our sense of like personal identity. They help guard us against like being overwhelmed by the demand of other people. So these are the kind of things that come to my mind when it comes to keeping your individuality as a person. And there's some questions that you have to ask yourself when it comes to this, right? Like, what's important to yourself? What are your thoughts and feelings? Like, what are they worth protecting? What are your values? You know, um, like what kind of friendships do you want to maintain? Like, what are your needs? What are your traditions, hobbies you want to keep? Things like that that you have to ask yourself. And you know, and from what I'm kind of like thinking about and what I kind of gathered is like, I don't practice. I take it as I don't practice these things all the time. I try to be the best person I can, but I ain't perfect. So although I'm writing these notes, and I'm saying these things. Don't take it as I'm like this guy that's trying to give you advice. That because I ain't the best guy. I ain't gonna hold you. But it's just got to consist of a high level of trust. And a mutual respect for your relationships. The relationship just isn't you know, a couple. You know what I'm saying? We're all in relationships at the end of the day, technically by definition. Um, leave room for those people to maintain their individuality. Codependency can be a big issue, when it comes to that.
Word.
So and find out
Uh,
ways.
uh,
Go ahead, man.
oh yeah, I'm just kind of listening. I've been thinking about that subject, and I do think that having that individual identity is cool, but I think it needs to complement each other too.
Mm,
And
okay.
I think that there, I would even argue that there needs to be some codependency if a relationship is going to work. And a lot of people don't. I don't know. I feel like a lot like I'm kind of listening to some of what the stuff y'all are saying. I'm kind of hearing it as this is my guard against if in case it doesn't go right. You know what I'm saying? And the only way I see codependency being a problem is if it doesn't work out, if that makes sense. Because I feel like you guys we're supposed to need each other. I feel like we were made to need each other. We all have different talents, skills, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like those different talents and skills are supposed to come together to be able, say, hey, I need you, you need me, and we complement each other and we can grow something together. Is what's in my head about it. So I'm just like, I don't I don't not saying don't be an individual, but I am saying I think it is important for the couples to complement each other in a way and grow an identity together also.
So that's like almost with habits too. Like I, for me, if I'm choosing a partner, then I want a partner who has healthy eating habits. Why?
Mm,
Because it's easier for me to fall off track if they don't have those healthy eating habits. So I'm low key kind of depending on them to have
mm,
that same drive. So I do understand exactly what you're saying, Rodney. That was a
yeah.
good point.
At
Mm.
the end of the
And
day, though,
even
go ahead.
I was saying to even add to that, maybe you are the one that made his mind shift in towards having better eating habits, and maybe he helped you get more into whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like everybody has their differences, and you can help grow each other. Like I've had I had an ex that she started two businesses after being in a relationship with me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that to brag or nothing like that. But what I'm saying is that part of me molded into her, but I learned stuff from her too. You feel me? It just wasn't business. It was just like, so we kind of gave each other something that helped grow us or whatever. I'm not with her anymore or whatever. But what I'm getting at is um the differences I feel are supposed to complement each other, but at the same time, the differences should help better each other as well. So it's like you should have somebody that's a little bit different than you, but complements you in areas that are necessary, or that are similar to you in the important areas. But sorry to cut you off though, bro. What were you gonna say?
And I have to definitely agree with that, and that kind of went along the lines of the notes I had as well. So that's definitely good points from you. I think one thing on that, and this is just the spirit of JB coming out of me. You know what I'm saying? What do you have to say to the people that say, hey, how about you want it for yourself? Why codepend on somebody for better eating habits? If they leave you, and if they die tomorrow, then what? You know what I'm saying? So why not want it for yourself?
I mean, and they
In
should,
essence, you know.
but
I, I'm
sometimes
just I'm just
other
throwing that out.
people
Go ahead.
inspired in you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or,
Okay.
I mean, but listen, okay? You got to know yourself, all right? And you got to know your weaknesses. So if I know I low key back in the day used to funk up some chicken, you know what I'm saying? And I don't eat chicken no more, then I don't want somebody in front of me eating chicken. And in my heart, I love chicken.
Right.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. I like that. I like that. Aunt of Dragons, what's up? How do you feel
Shut up,
about
auntie.
Yeah. As our followers may or may not know, I do have a YouTube channel myself called The Breakup Diaries, where I talk about this. And this topic is very close to heart to me because I considered past tense, myself the permeable membrane where I adapt to who I am dating. So I lose myself. I like whatever they like. I like sports because you like sports. I like video games because you like video games. I know how to speak Spanish because you spoke Spanish. And I think that's a extremely codependent and very toxic trait. And if you're dating someone who doesn't take the time to, like, for me, I love musicals, but I've never had someone be like, hey, let's go see a musical together. It has to be a partnership. And I think that relationship should be a teamwork. I've never been a part of one, but I think that I think that they should be about teamwork. It should be like, let's tap in each other, like you should want to, because we're such a melting pot, at least in America. I don't know, man. In America, we're such a melting pot of culturalism and individualism, personalities. So why don't you take that time to learn from each other as opposed to being like, I like this because they like that, like taking the time to because it should be fun. Like I said, I'm a hypocrite because I've never experienced that.
I don't say you're a hypocrite. Actually, I feel like that's your love language. You get what I'm saying? I don't know if that's like a true thing. Y'all don't quote me on
stupidism
that.
and love language? Stupidism?
Yeah, like because the reason why I said is because you take the time to get to know who you're dealing with, and because you love them, you know what I'm saying, you participate in the things that entertain or that they might like. You know what I'm saying? So that was my only point of saying that.
If I could say something to that, I don't think it was toxic at all that you were willing. I feel like you was a good girlfriend. Personally, that's how I feel. Um, Now he should have been that too for you also, and I think the reason you felt it was toxic was because he wasn't that for you also. That which I don't know your story, I'm just guessing. But I'm just like the best relationship I ever had in my life. I was with a woman for 6 years. That was the only person I ever actually almost got married to. And she kind of was that for me, but I was that for her too. And we got along. And it was kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier, where it was certain things that she did that I wasn't necessarily interested in, but I went with her anyway, and I supported it. I went to those little girly movies that I don't care nothing about, but it made her happy, right? And I ended up learning a few things from it, you know what I'm saying, or seeing a different side of it or perspective. And the same thing happened with you. You like, okay, this guy speaks Spanish, so I'm gonna learn Spanish. I'm like, hey, ain't nothing wrong with learning Spanish. I don't like football, but he likes football.
That's
yeah, exactly. Right. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I'm not seeing what you're saying as being toxic, as opposed to, you're expanding your mind and growing as a person by getting the different experiences that other people have themselves. And if they didn't do the same for you, then they just missed out, in my opinion. Because I'm sure you got stuff to offer that they could have learned from, and they missed out. Is how I feel, and you didn't. So I personally feel like don't feel bad at all that you submerged yourself in somebody else's life and you got that experience. But they should have did the same, and they would have got some experiences because they could have grew from you. That's my thought process.
I love that. I'm like,
Thank you.
music from ear to ear. I'm like, yes.
True.
That was very kind of you to say. Thank you, Rodney.
You're welcome.
That was facts, girl.
So, so any final thoughts on this or any final comments on this? Once again, the topic is, how important is it for individuals in a relationship to maintain their own separate identity? How important is that? Very important for them to, let's just do a round table of that. So, let's start with Aunt of Dragons.
I don't know why. Huh?
How important is it to you?
I don't know why, but I keep thinking of the quote from The Lion King. Remember, Simba, remember who you are. Whenever we say that title. But it is important to remember who you are, but it's also important that I think that the word American is so weird, you know, because it's like we think of American as one way, but it's like it's completely just like a huge pot of different seasoning and spices. And don't don't be afraid to bring yourself into the relationship, but also don't lose yourself too much that you forget who you are, Simba. That was so cheesy. If you want to cut that out, you can. But don't no leave it, leave it, leave it, leave it.
All right, all right, all right. So, Rodney, how important is it to you, you know, to maintain your individualism in a relationship?
Yeah, and you know what's so weird about that question to me is that I've always done that anyway. Uh, I kind of like it's kind of just natural. I'm just that type of person that I am going to be me no matter what. But I think it's important to add to that that is that in order for any relationship to work, you do have to kind of mold yourself to that to other people too. You got to be willing to, you know, do what they like too. You can't just be I'm an individual. It's just me. That's that. If you're gonna be an individual, be single. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm just like, yeah, you want to maintain your individuality, being, I guess, so far as who you are and what you like. But if you're gonna be in a relationship, especially if you're talking about being serious, then I just personally feel like you got to be willing to also mold into them because um, how else is I just don't see a way that it can work without doing some of that, you know. Um, y'all gonna butt heads all the time, you know. That's just so. How important is it? It's important, but not that important. I wouldn't tell you do that over, you know, learning your partner and you got to conform something, bro. You know what I'm saying? Men and women, you got to conform something, bro. And you're never gonna find a man that likes with everything you like. You're never gonna find a woman that likes everything you like. So yeah, you got to
Okay.
be able to mold something.
All right, and I 100% agree with that. You're never gonna find like that one person that does everything 100%. And there's got to be some kind of molding, in the relationship
Mhm.
process, and it's not gonna be easy. For
All
some
right.
people it might come overnight, but most relationships they're really not that easy. But you fight through it, you live to see another day.
Right. And I'm
And
like, as long as the molding isn't in a negative direction, you know what I'm saying?
exactly,
As long as it's not bad for you, you know.
exactly, and that's the whole key. Jazz, any final thoughts?
Yes. I guess I'll speak on when if you're adding titles to yourself, don't be consumed by the title, okay? Because you are also yourself, okay? So feed
Mm,
yourself as you're feeding your wife title or your mother title or being a sister or whatever it is that you do. And I agree with Ashley, pretty much with knowing yourself, understand what your weaknesses are, so that way, whenever you are looking for that partner, um, you're not catering to maybe the less frequent, the less frequency side of you, if that makes sense. Y'all get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so yeah, answer to your higher self, so that way you pick good partners. You know what I'm saying? That's
mm.
it.
Hey, for some people that works. I'm just messing around, but yeah, good stuff from everyone. Definitely enjoyed y'all input, and I think our followers and our listeners will definitely get a lot out of this. So if that's all we got, appreciate you guys for being here on the show. Appreciate everything. Follow Art of Dragons on Instagram. That's her Instagram. Jazz underscore B nailed it. Am I correct on IG?
Jazzy B underscore nail underscore it.
All right, all right, all right. Where can they follow you, Rodney?
On IG it's Rodney underscore the real deal. And Facebook is Rodney Watson the second. So that's a Roman numeral two.
All right, and I'm gonna go ahead and plug in JB while he's not here. JB written everywhere,
Shout
Facebook,
out.
YouTube, IG, all that stuff. Find him there. Me, real name Wynton across all platforms. So from real name Wynton, Jazz the Queen Lioness, Aunt of Dragons and Rodney. This is Everyday Heroes signing out.